I'm honestly somewhat worried because as much as people say, "Oh, the game's always gonna die," and it's like, well, the game's still alive, but I don't I don't really know where they can take it since unless they choose to somehow expand into the Tau. I've always wanted them to eventually expand into the Tau system,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously that is a huge amount of commitment and effort, and I don't know if they're ready for that or if that's ever going to happen, at least in the realistic future. But that's why I was hoping and why I asked you if you think what we're getting in the new war is just another big stepping stone to maybe second half or maybe thirds. So two-thirds, third, final third. But
There's there's a lot that we haven't seen. We haven't seen. Okay, so we have Ballas, right? There's
yes.
a few characters that's missing. The
Mhm.
other major sentients, the other major executors for the Orokin,
Mhm.
um, Arlo, which is the infested boss at the moment. He who has a whole new, like, I guess a completely new variant of infestation.
Mhm.
Um, we have Parvos Granum and the third Orb Mother. We'll see what he's gonna be doing with that. They're saying that they're gonna try to turn it into like a trial or something like that. But all those things come after the new war. But the problem that I see is that how are they going to implement it and how are they going to expand the community? The reason why the new war is taking so much time is because if they mess up the new war, a lot of people are going to leave Warframe. You see
Definitely.
a lot of people watch Warframe, but they don't play it because they want to see where the game is going to go. Warframe has the
Mhm.
style, it has the look, but like I said, it's missing the gameplay, the animations, and the content to make people want to come back. Yeah, the new war is dope, this, that, and the third. Straight, we got a new story. But when it comes down to, okay, I completed the story, now what? That's what's gonna be on people's minds.
You
If
know what that
people,
makes me think of?
what?
Oblate series of should you get out of your bed for the new war?
Yeah, like a lot of people, and you see, the thing is that with YouTube now, a lot of people aren't gonna actually sign in to play the game. They're just gonna watch. They're just gonna watch on YouTube. So if it's just a cinematic, a lot of people don't mind spoiling themselves and they're just gonna watch it on YouTube and not even play the game. But if the new war brings in, like I said, some sort of raid-like content that actually tests your gameplay, a lot of people's gonna log in for that. Going back to like Exploder Orb and using that as an example, if the snake boss that they showed with using like the Warframe and those those pictures that they showed in on the art animation panel, if those were like bosses and they have like crazy like wicked attacks and like crazy arenas and they show that off in like a trailer along with like the new Warframe and stuff like that, a lot of people would come back to play that. Not the
Is it
story.
bad?
The story is the icing on the cake, but the content that comes with it is what's supposed to keep people like playing.
Is it bad that when you said snake boss, my first thought was, oh yes, the Orobashi snake from
No,
Genshin.
stop.
That what?
You can't talk about Genshin.
I
Or
know, I know.
they Warframe players don't like that.
That flashed through my head though, and I was like, man, this is not what he means, but this is what I see in my head.
The snake sentient Warframe thing.
Yeah, yeah, I
If
know what you mean.
because here's the thing, Geoff said that it's a sub boss, but
Oh,
yeah,
I did not know this.
he said that it was a sub boss, but a sub boss for what is the question here? Because like I said, that's why I have hopes that it's some sort of like, you know, some sort of like raid group content sort of thing. Because if it is, DE struck gold. If it isn't, it's just going to be another update. People's going to play the update, get everything, and then they're going to leave. If it's not anything like that, it's They they struck out again. Despite how good the quest is, if it's just another sacrifice, yeah, they're gonna give its high praises. Oh, the sacrifice was the best quest ever, and then they're
Mm.
gonna log off.
I actually felt sacrifice was kind of underwhelming.
I found it underwhelming when I saw freaking Excalibur freaking slide across the floor, slash dashing them sentients. I was sick. I was
I
like,
thought
who
the
and
most impressive part was the AI the custom AI for Umbra that they never used again in the game for anything else. And I'm just like, why would you finally develop actually competent AI and then not give it to any of the allies that we have?
I don't. I got no comment on the matter. But yeah,
Um,
that's what I see personally. If, like I said, if they have story and they have bosses and they have group content that can be streamed and played with the community, they struck gold. They struck
I
gold
feel
because that's all Warframe is missing.
I feel raids are extremely important to a game, no matter what people say, because while they are very endgame oriented and traditionally, well, Destiny is a case of disproportionately high player counts for raids, but traditionally, raids represents the pinnacle activity in the game where it exaggerates the extremes of the player base. So you'll end up with really toxic people there.
Yeah,
But at the same time, this is also where you meet the most helpful people you'll probably ever see in the game.
exactly.
Because those are the people that understand of the trials and difficulties of trying to climb those heights
Hmm.
and just the amount of time it takes to learn and everything like that. And we've had that before because we had the raid school bus server for the old raids on Warframe, and a lot of the people that I've talked to that played a lot back then, because I wasn't really as involved during that time, said that there's very fond memories they had during that time. Of course, there's always like shit disturbers and people that cause problems, but it's just that those kind of activities were unlike anything else in Warframe and how it brought people together. And I feel that's very important because Warframe doesn't have much of that right now. And those are the kind of communities that makes the game last and cements a sort of reputation of what the game can do, what the people can do, and what the community can do together. Because right now,
That's
besides that, what do we have? Like dojo decorations, which yes, it's nice, but we really don't have that many representations of what can the community do together.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with Asmongold, right? He talks about that a lot with Final Fantasy. He doesn't understand why a lot of people watch him, but they watch because of not only his content, but what he does with the community. Look at the Final Fantasy raids that he's doing right now. If you look at like his content, he's doing with like his viewers and people that he meets in game, and that is engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Saying he's on stream and he's like, "Who wants to join my clan? All right, meet me at this certain place in this specific area, and then I'm gonna invite you to my clan, but only if I like your character." Like that sort of stuff is what is that. That stuff is hilarious, and that's what builds communities and makes things exciting. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's like we really, and it's not only just raids alone. Even have like really tough raid, not raid bosses, but like field bosses in game, like in game, like say the plains of Eidolons. You go into the caves and like there's this underground Eidolon that isn't tied to any lures or anything like that, but you actually have to fight it. You know what I'm saying? And it spawns at maybe like a specific time of the day, or maybe it's just there generally. Maybe you could fight it 2 times a day through a bounty or something. And it's just there and you can just fight it. Stuff like that is what would make the open worlds in Warframe a lot more entertaining. You
You
know,
know
me.
what this reminded me of?
What?
There was one time that Warframe went way above and beyond, and I remember the whole community came together. The I wasn't playing as much RAM back then too, because well, a lot younger, don't really know what I'm doing in the game. I don't know if you were playing then, but the Gradavis dilemma,
Radavis dilemma.
back when the event
Oh,
that
oh,
caused the destruction of the relays.
Oh yeah, I
So
played
that
during
was a
there.
huge thing back then of where everybody came together, but they're like, "Oh no, we got to do this and that's like."